Of metal, the Moto X4 definitely has a premium design despite the mid-range asking price. This handset reminded us somewhat of the Honor 9, although it's a bit heftier at 163 grams. The X4 is also a rather chunky handset with an 8mm frame that gets even thicker when you hit that jutting camera lens. One-handed use isn't particularly easy as a result, as the bezels surrounding the display aren't exactly svelte, although Motorola has helped out with some software features, which we'll touch on later. Thankfully, that glass surfacing doesn't seem to pick up fingerprints and greasy marks as easily as some rival. Plus, that metal edging is a neat break from the glossy rear. This is certainly one of the better looking Moto phones of late. Impressively, the X4 is also fully IP68 water resistant, one of the few smartphones at this price point that can boast such a feature. Our only initial complaint with the Moto X4's design is that the power button is really close to the volume buttons, which means we occasionally hit the wrong one by accident. Hopefully that won't prove to be a long-term issue. A 5.2-inch IPS display proves quite a visual treat, with a Full HD 1920x1080 resolution to keep your images and videos crisp and detailed. You can switch on Moto's vibrant mode to make the visuals more striking, otherwise the Moto X4 seems to produce quite natural looking colours by default. Full Bluetooth 5.0 support means you can hook up a couple of speakers or headphones at once, which is great if you're travelling with a chum and want to watch a spot of Netflix together. You get 32GB of storage space to download your media to, and that can be boosted by up to a whopping 2TB using the micro SD card slot. Android Nougat 7.1 was installed on the Moto X4 when we went hands-on with it in an almost completely natural form. Like the other Moto phones, Motorola hasn't added a clunky overlay. This is almost raw Android through and through. That said, you do get the special Moto Assistant app, which adds some great bonus features. Moto Key allows you to sign into your apps and websites using the fingerprint sensor in place of a password. That'll definitely be handy if you struggle to remember every individual login. Moto Actions offers up a great range of shortcuts, including the ability to quickly load the camera with a double twist. This also offers a nifty one-handed feature which shrinks your app or desktops towards the bottom of the display. The first is a night screen mode, which filters blue light for a more comfortable viewing experience in the dark. The second pops up notifications and any new messages and other bits whenever the screen is hibernating. Finally, there's Moto Voice, which is a hands-free assistant for controlling the phone simply by talking. That'll be handy when driving or cooking, for instance. Of course, there's another voice-activated feature on the Moto X4 in the form of built-in Alexa support. Just say Alexa at any time and Amazon's nifty assistant jumps right to attention. Sadly, you don't get a super-powered processor, but for the first phone we've encountered running a Snapdragon 630, it appears to be quite a capable chipset, and as it's backed up by 3GB of RAM, you can expect solidly smooth performance when using the X4. The 3000 mAh battery should hopefully keep you going through a full day, while the Turbo Power fast charging feature can give you up to 6 hours of use from just 15 minutes at the plug. Flip the X4 over and you'll find a dual-lens snapper which pokes right out of the chassis. The first 12MP f2.0 aperture lens is backed up by an 8MP wide-angle lens with an f2.2 aperture. The secondary shooter gives you a 120-degree view of your surroundings to take in more of the scene. You can quickly switch between them with a tap of an on-screen icon. The Moto X4 certainly seems to take shots quickly thanks to the face detection autofocus tech. You also get burst mode on board too, which is handy when shooting an active subject. Meanwhile, a new depth of field setting adds some background blur to your snaps to make your subject stand out when desired. This seemed to be a bit wonky in our hands-on, producing very artificial results, although it was difficult to properly test as the phone was tethered. There's also a panorama mode, manual controls, and a few other camera features, while you can shoot up to 4K resolution video. Up front you have a 16MP camera with an f2.0 aperture lens, which captures very sharp selfie snaps. Thank God for that beauty mode then. This camera even offers an LED flash to light up your mug when shooting a snap at night. That's pretty rare for any mobile, let alone one at this price point.